Hello, everyone. It's another new time, another new day. It's Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. It's Monday this week because of the schedule. It's still in the Asian Swing. So apologise if you have been waiting for us on the Tuesday. No show tomorrow. But anyway, making up the days, it's Monday. And I'm delighted to say joining me, looking ahead to the round of 16 matches over in Shanghai is our senior ATP Tour handicapper. It's Sean Calvert. Sean, different day today, but same old thing. We're betting winners. That's what we're doing here. We're cashing tickets. How are you, mate? Things are looking good.
We're trying to. Yeah, it's been a good Asian swing, hasn't it, so far? All good here, mate. It's another extremely sunny, very, very late summer day here. So it's beautiful and there's some good tennis. So, it's all good.
I've had to put the blind down because the sun is blinded in to my face, and it bounces off my head and then bounces off the TV. But I look less orange today. I've changed the camera around back to the normal one.
That's a lot better. That's a lot better. I think there's something wrong with that camera. The focus wasn't right either. I couldn't read what it says on the back behind you there, whereas now I can read that perfectly. So there's something going on there.
Dad keep cashing those tickets.
It does, but I knew it said that, but I couldn't read it on the previous camera because it was all blurry.
Yeah, I know. I don't know who sent that to me, but anyway, I got it through the post from someone. But anyway, we're looking at some matches. Talking about profit, up to 19.83 points now. We went for a little bit of a lull during Wimbledon, to the period like that. Going into the US Open, and now running profit.
I would rather, to be honest with you, I would rather have the profitable times during the biggest tournaments, because that's obviously when most people are interested in tennis. But unfortunately, the way I bet and the way a lot of people bet, it doesn't really lend itself as well to Grand Slams as it does to parts of the tour like the Asian Swing, unfortunately. But, we've always said, haven't we, it's a long game. You can't just drop in for a few weeks and hope for a massive profit and, like that. It's accumulation of steady wins over a period of almost 2 years that we've been doing this now.
Exactly. So 19.83, and that equates to just under 5%. And I've said all along, if you make 5% betting on the year, that is a decent figure. And that is the target through now, and even better. That's the target from now, the minimum target we want to succeed here, and even better as we go into the final few weeks of the tennis season. We are going to talk about the four matches we know in round 16 of Shanghai. It's the ATP Tour 1000 event. It's the penultimate ATP Tour 1000 event. We have Paris is the final one a little bit later on this month. But before we go into this match, Sean, these matches, the weather conditions. We've seen a lot of the tournaments today affected, and yesterday as well, affected by the rain. There's been a lot of rain. There's a typhoon that's hit China. I don't know if it's going to come into Hong Kong. Sorry, I don't know if that's going to come into China. Looking at the results today, though, it didn't really seem to favour the big hitters. We've said that it's a tournament that we would expect to be one of the fastest of the year. Diego Schwartzman beat Taylor Fritz. Admittedly, probably a disinterested Taylor Fritz, but Schwartzman did the business there in a tiebreak, which you would have.
I watched that match. It's a great match.
You would have thought Fritz would have won a tiebreak there. And the conditions really, there's a lot of clay quarters coming through here. So is it a little bit slower than we expected? Has it got slower as the week's gone on? Because yesterday, if we went for the big hitters and the power hitters, we would have actually lost money.
I think it's important to look at where these matches are being played, because not all these courts are the same by any means. The stadium court is definitely quite clearly slower to me from the naked eye. Just looking at the CPIs, show court 3, which to me looks quick, was clocked at 43.2 and 43.1 on different days. CPI being court pace index, the higher the number, the quicker it is. Stadium court down to 38.9 and 38.4 and 40.3. So that court is clearly slower. For me, the outside courts played quicker, which is why I think we had success earlier in the tournament, because a lot of those matches were played on the outside courts. Now, looking at tomorrow's schedule, they're all played on this stadium court, so it's going to be slower. The balls as well, the players are complaining about these Wilson 1 balls, not the Wilson US Open balls. They're using the Wilson 1, which are kind of a bog standard tour ball, but a lot of the players saying they're fluffing up really quickly. So the new balls, it's okay. I think the courts themselves are a reasonable pace, but once these balls fluff up after sort of two, maybe 3 games, it becomes much, much harder to hit winners. And you get the situation where Schwartzman today was playing on the main court, kind of late afternoon, evening. It's also not been hot, has it, at all? It's been sort of 24, 25, no real sun baking these courts. So it's not as hot as we'd hoped for, but I think the reason we did as well as we did in the early stages was because as I said, the matches were played on the outside courts, which were quicker. If you look historically at Shanghai, it's been sort of 44, 45 CPIs, and this stadium court now 38, 39. Medvedev even likened it to Indian Wells, which I think he's exaggerated. He does tend to exaggerate a bit, Medvedev, but it's definitely not as quick as Shanghai's gone by, certainly on the stadium court anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are players suited by the slower conditions. And unfortunately, one of our picks, Herbert Hurkacz, is through to the last 16 at big price. You want it quicker for him. So we're going to come on to his match in a little while. Ugo Ember and our other pick at 80-1 is in action a little bit later on today, a little after we've recorded here. He's playing Stefanos Tsitsipas. So hopefully we can get two players through to the last 16 here over in Shanghai. But let's look at the matches. And the first match we're going to talk about is Casper Ruud against Fabian Marozsan. Now, Marozsan is a player that not many people would have heard of, but he shocked Carlos Alcaraz, didn't he, on the clay court swing when he was probably the biggest underdog of the year that's actually gone in against Carlos Alcaraz. He's won that. He's obviously got talent. He's playing exceptionally well. He's won 3 matches here against 3 decent opponents. He's beat Rinderknech, he's beat Alex de Minaur, he's beat Lajovic. Casper Ruud has come through against Nishioka and Eubanks, probably a tired Eubanks here. And Casper Ruud is the favourite, minus 360. It's all about the conditions here. Both of them like it slower. Casper Ruud is minus 360. Fabian Marozsan is plus 270. The spread is 3.5. Ruud is minus 130, minus 3.5. And the total here is 22.5. Casper Ruud is the 8th seed in this tournament. His hard court record this year isn't great. It's 11-10. Marozsan actually has a better hard court record, but he hasn't played the opponents that Casper Ruud had in the tournaments he has. And he's a lot lower in the rankings. He's 91. It's all about the conditions for me here with Casper Ruud. What do you think about this match?
Well, it's the first match of the day, so it's in theory it should be the quickest conditions, but it's on that stadium court. All the matches now, I think, are going to be the singles matches are going to be on the stadium court. So for me, that's a negative for big hitters. This is about as good conditions as Marozsan is going to get first up in the warmth of the day, so to speak. He looks like he's relishing the big stage, doesn't he, Marozsan? He's taken down Alcaraz at Rome. This isn't a guy that shies away from things. I think the really impressive thing for me from him this week was beating de Minaur. I mean, Rinderknech, yeah, you could possibly see that. Lajovic, I fancied him to beat Lajovic. Lajovic never does well against really tall players that can kind of get on top of his kick serve, and you can outpower him on sort of reasonable pace court. So that not major surprise there, but beating de Minaur for me is in straight sets is impressive for Marozsan. Has Casper Ruud done a lot this tournament? Well, not really. He beat a extremely jaded looking Nishioka, who was competitive for the first sort of 10 games, and then once he'd lost the break, kind of fell away, got bageled in the end. And Eubanks, I don't think was fit either. He had medical time out for back problems in his previous match. So Ruud so far has done what he's had to do. If we look at the stats of both these two in this tournament so far, they've both held serve an awful lot. Ruud 94% of the time, Marozsan 93% of the time. So in a first-time matchup, Ruud went to see Marozsan play too often, I wouldn't have thought. It might take him a little while to figure things out, Casper Ruud. I feel like Ruud will probably get it done eventually, because I think the conditions are sort of going towards him now that I've said the stadium court is a little slower than I'd hoped it would be. Just to lean here, I feel like over 10.5 games at 3.15 plus 215 at Bet Rivers is a possible option here, on the basis that Marozsan, he does have those big weapons. He can keep Ruud at bay. Might take him a while to work it out. So that'll be the lean for me here.
Another incentive for Casper Ruud. He's currently 10th in the race for Turin, the end of season tournament, the ATP Tour, with the top 8 players with the most ranking points play in the big money tournament there. He's currently 10th. A win here will take him up probably to 9th and go ahead of Taylor Fritz.
Fritz lost, didn't he? So,
yeah, so he'll be just behind Holger Rune, who is obviously got a huge injury concern as well. So there is incentive for him for that. Which is something that I always like looking at this part of the season, something I've mentioned in the last couple of weeks. But a minus 360, would I bet him? I don't. I do like your play, though, Sean, on the games. I think the games here potentially could be long. And if you look at Ruud's record in this tournament so far this week, he's played he has actually played quite a lot of tough matches, hasn't he? I mean, he's come back from defeat. He's been sort of struggling. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm looking at somebody else here completely. Sorry, he's won both in straight sets, but I was looking at his matches in Beijing. I was looking at his matches in Beijing where he beat Echeverry. I thought that was this week. So
I don't think he was fit in Beijing. Although he was coughing a lot, and Echeverry should have beat him. Kind of choked it away, Echeverry. So I'm never really sold on Casper Ruud in sort of medium quick conditions. You know, he might well end up making the final of this tournament, but I think it'd be more by default because other players have failed, like Medvedev, etc. So he'll probably win it, but I certainly wouldn't bet him at that price.
is that an official pick or is that a lean?
No, it's just a lean for a set one over 10.5 games, 3.15 at Bet Rivers.
Yeah, set one over 10.5 games. I quite like the over 22.5 games in the match at even money as well, which is it's very similar to Sean's way of thinking on how the whole Casper Ruud against Fabian Marozsan match will go. That match starts at 12:30 a.m. Eastern time, which is the first match on court. Bet Rivers currently have 35 different markets available on the website, which you can get now. And these matches are on the early hours of Tuesday morning. So this will go live sometime on Monday afternoon, and you'll have a few hours to get across to BetRivers website. Remember, you can place your bet there and you can watch the match live stream on your tablet, your mobile phone, or whatever device you want to play on your laptop. Next match we're going to talk about is the 1:50 a.m. match Eastern time. Francisco Cerundolo up against Sebastian Korda. Sebastian Korda is a very, very heavy favourite to win this match. He's minus 215. Cerundolo is, I've moved it up from the graphic a little bit, but he's plus 170, Francisco Cerundolo. The spread here is 3.5. Cerundolo minus 136, and the total is pitched at 22.5. I've come off a little bit off piece from the graphic to keep you on your toes there.
I've had to scroll down here. A good few inches.
Yeah. Cerundolo's the number 20 seed. He's a higher ranking than Sebastian Korda, who's 26. And I think the market's a little bit disrespectful for Cerundolo here, considering he's come through this tournament in great form, some great wins, Davidovich, Fokina, McDonald, Fucsovic. And Korda obviously has had that big win against Medvedev, which out of sorts Medvedev. But we've seen so many times on tennis when you have that big win, the following match you hit a fall here. I think Sebastian Korda, I know he's not been our friend on his podcast, but minus 215, that certainly isn't anything that I would like to touch.
No, he's not consistent, is he, Korda? That's the problem. We know we can produce this tennis. You know, I've said it all along. Beat Medvedev, yeah. It wouldn't be any surprise at all if he came and lost to Francisco Cerundolo here. For me, it would be no surprise whatsoever. It would be kind of ironic, given the amount of times we've backed Korda, that if he made the final here of a Masters 1000, that would be kind of annoying. And he does have the ability to do that, but equally he could lose in straight sets to Cerundolo. I think Cerundolo, these two are quite flaky on this. It's difficult to really have confidence in either of these two. Korda, he tends to kind of cruise quite serenely through tournaments when he's playing well. Then he gets to a match where he's not playing well, and he's not really capable of kind of battling away and winning ugly. For me, he tends to win matches when he is playing well. I'm yet to see him really struggle through one where he's not finding his tennis and he's just having to sort of do the basics and just end up nicking it ugly. That's not him, or it hasn't been so far. And that's perhaps one reason why he hasn't done as well as he perhaps should have done in the bigger tournaments. Looking at the stats, I can kind of see why it's priced as it is. 2023 stats away from clay, so the quicker services. Not much in it in the win rate, actually. Cerundolo, 68%. Korda, 70%. Service points won and return points won totals. Cerundolo, 101. Pretty respectable. Korda, 104. So on the basis of that, you could sort of see why Korda is the price that he is, but you would be brave backing Korda at this price. If you want to back Korda, I'd suggest perhaps in play, you'll probably get a bigger price than that. I think Cerundolo, he's either up for it or he isn't Cerundolo. He's not been up for it a lot in recent months, but when he is up for it, and he had to battle against McDonald in the previous round, if I was forced into a bet on this one, it's not very appealing, to be honest, but I would probably take Cerundolo.
Yeah, I think Cerundolo's a big price, plus 170. Sebastian Korda, I always like to fade someone who had such a big win, and a win over Medvedev, given the sort of bad form that Korda's been in the last sort of in the late summer. Then I think that Cerundolo here offers some value. I think the court conditions will suit Cerundolo. So plus 170 looks a decent price there. Let's move on to a match we've got a big interest in already. It's our 33-1 tournament pick, Herbert Hurkacz. He's up against Zhang. Zhang is in some great form. He won the Asian Games, won the final in convincing style. He's kept that form going in Shanghai. He's beat Gasquet, he's beat Echeverry, he's beat Nakashima. So he's in good form. He's up to 60 in the world. And they put this match on last, which I'm not quite sure will help our pick here, Hurkacz. Hurkacz has a winning record against Zhang here in this tournament in 2019. He won 7-6, 6-4. But I think the Chinese players are going to have a huge amount of support, and the fact that they put him on late really doesn't help our chances. I'm a little bit worried about this match, Sean, and I bet Hurkacz here, and I think the draw we've been given and the reasoning for the bet is fantastic. But this match here, I'm a little bit concerned. He's a -250 favourite, +$2 Zhang. Spread is 2.5. Zhang receiving 2.5 is +118, and the total is, no surprise, if Hurkacz match is very high. It's 23.5 here. 35 different markets available. Other than those 3 main markets with BetRivers, head over across to the website. But for someone like me who's a little bit nervous,
you're worried, aren't you?
Yeah, I know. I don't usually get a little bit worried, but I am a little bit worried about this match. I think if it was an early game, I'd be more confident. The fact that he's playing a Chinese player in China does worry me. I'm a little bit concerned by that. But I will be worried. The subscribers of the channel and anyone who's got Hurkacz tickets will be worried as well. So, are we right to be worried, or are we okay? What's your way of thinking of how this match is going to go?
Well, he could have had a last 16 match against Holger Rune where he probably wouldn't have been favourite. So
I wouldn't have worried about that. He's injured.
Would you rather have that or this? I mean, it's a difficult one. I mean, for me, Hurkacz, I'm not that bothered about the conditions. That doesn't worry me really, because Hurkacz is more than capable on slow hard. He won Miami, didn't he? Before it was quick. Delray Beach. These aren't quick hard court conditions.
This is what I like to hear. This is what I like to hear. I don't confidence.
I don't think Hurkacz is.
This is what we want.
Well, I'm just saying how I see it. I mean, Hurkacz for me I don't think he wants it lightning quick. His movement isn't that great. I think on a slightly slower hard court, it's better. I mean, he doesn't want it desperately slow like Indian Wells, but a kind of medium-ish paced hard court. That's not a problem for me. You're looking at Zhang. I mean, he hadn't won a single match in Shanghai before he came here. 0-6, and he hadn't even won a set, actually. He was 0-12 in sets.
This is all good news. This is what we want to hear.
However,
Go on.
He was world number 178 last time he played here in 2019. He's obviously a much better player now. If he beats Hurkacz, which obviously we hope he doesn't, he'll be top 50, I would think, by the time the rankings come out next week. So certainly, obviously, massive motivation for him. I think he's going to get nervous, though. He is a nervy sort. I could certainly see him struggling if he does come to have a chance to win in this match. If you look at the stats, that they're very similar to the ones I just mentioned, identical actually, with Korda and Cerundolo. The service points won, return points won totals. Hurkacz 104, Zhang 101. So it's a similar level of dominance, if you want to call it that. Hurkacz 64% win rate on outdoor hard this season. Zhang 55%. So I mean, the odds are sort of about right, if a little short on Hurkacz. I mean, Zhang's shown what he can do against top 20 opponents recently. He's played 7 matches against the top 20 at main level. He's won 3, lost 4, beat Casper Ruud at the US Open, beat Taylor Fritz and Cam Norrie in Madrid. So on his day, he can certainly be a tough obstacle for Hurkacz. We know the Hurkacz return game needs work. We know he holds a lot. He's held 90% of the time away from clay this season, Hurkacz, and only broken 15% of the time. So it always leads me when Hurkacz is playing against an opponent who does have power and can hold his own service games, reasonably comfortably. I think it would be a test. I do like over 12.5 games here in set 1, plus 245. I've taken this actually with Bet Rivers. I think that's the play here. I think Hurkacz will probably just about have enough, but I think it'll be tight.
Yeah, first set tie break, plus 245 currently with Bet Rivers website. Head across there now. That's made me feel so much better. I was worried about this when I was thinking, I think this is a tricky little match. If he gets past this,
I think he's going to win, but
I know. But you give some great arguments and you give me some confidence. Sean, when you talk confidently about a pick, I'm more happy. Sometimes you're a little bit sort of level-headed more than me. I'm always going, he's going to win, he's going to lose. You're much more, you're very stable in your picks. You were very confident there in your analysis in this match, so that gives me huge confidence. So I'm going in again. Don't be a moron, stick more on, and we'll have the conversation.
Well, I did not say put more on at this stage.
Anyway, this you put me at ease. I thought it was a tricky little match.
It will be,
yeah, but now we've heard it, and I was worried about the the conditions. I was worried about the scheduling, and obviously this match is a late game. So this match will start at around about 7:50 a.m. Eastern time on Tuesday morning. The final match we're going to talk about is probably the most interesting one on the day, and this one is quite a fascinating match. Actually, Jannik Sinner, obviously in brilliant form. To me, I still think Sinner's the only player I think can match Alcaraz in the next few years. I think he's got every shot. I'm a huge Sinner fan. So pleased to see him winning in Beijing. Finally get a big win over Medvedev. Beat Alcaraz, beat Medvedev. How much will that give his confidence? I think it's got to give him a huge amount of confidence. He's up against Shanghai. He's up against Ben Shelton. And obviously Ben Shelton, heroics from the US Open, and the American now sweetheart on the tennis scene. Jannik Sinner's -$4. Ben Shelton was $3. The handicap is 3.5. Shelton plus 3.5 plus 104. And the total is 22.5. There is this kind of concern that obviously Sinner's played a lot of tennis after winning in Beijing, coming over to Shanghai, but he did get that bye in the first round, and he's looked good against Giron. Didn't play very well at all though against Sebastian Baez, that must be said. And Shelton just gone about his business as he does. Court speed here is crucial for this match for Shelton's chances, but Sinner, I'm a big fan of Sinner. I think he's my favourite tennis player to watch when he's on his game. But the problem is he has too many games when he's not on his game, like he did in the last round. What do you think about this one?
I wouldn't be betting Sinner here at this price. I'm still holding fairly serious doubts about him physically. I still don't think he's capable of beating Alcaraz over shorter distances, over the best of 5 over a 2-week major. I'm not so sure about that. Here in this particular tournament that we're interested in, he's played 14 sets in the last 10 days, and he pulled out the doubles, citing fatigue. His body for me is still got some way to go to be up there with the best. It's Ben Shelton's birthday today, by the way. 21 years of age.
I know he watches. Happy 21st, Ben. I know he watches it quite regularly.
He does.
Yeah, he's a big fan.
He might just be too strong physically, Shelton, in this match. He's on a roll at the moment, as you said. I think this match will be a good barometer of where Shelton is at the minute. Sinner against big servers, inconclusive. He's played a tie-break in 5 of 8 matches he's played against Berrettini, Cressy, Isner, Kyrgios, and Opelka. So I remember earlier in his career, particularly, he had problems with John Isner. So the jury's out, as far as I'm concerned, with him against the big servers. He's lost to a few aggressive left-handers as well in his time. Huesler's beaten him. Draper's beaten him. Shapovalov's beaten him. Humbert has as well. So, that there are reasons to be optimistic if you're a Ben Shelton fan or backer. And what's impressed me about Shelton actually is he has backed up that US Open run to the semi-finals. I was questioning whether he could do that. I said, let's wait and see if he can. And at the minute he has, to come from behind against Safulin as well, who was hitting the ball absolutely beautifully, Safulin, in the first few rounds. Shelton's come from behind to beat him. Shelton against top 10 opponents on hard, his record, I took a look at that. He's won at least a set 4 times in 7 matches, and he's played a tie-break in 5 of those 7 matches. So he's certainly been competitive. What would worry me here is the fact that it's scheduled at 6:30 local time. Well, it's obviously going to be slower. It's on that slower stadium court. Those are kind of negatives as well. But I mean, Sinner started slowly all week. Should have lost the opening set to Giron. I don't know how Giron managed to lose that set, actually, but he somehow managed to find a way to lose it. Also lost the first set to Baez. This is kind of indicative to me, the fact that Sinner is a bit tired and it's taken him a while to kind of get himself going. Difficult one. I would perhaps take Shelton. I'd probably take a little bit of interest on Shelton to win the opening set. 3.2 plus 220 chance that is with Bet Rivers. That's my kind of way of thinking on this. It's just a lean at the minute.
Going to be a difficult match for sure for Jannik Sinner. He's played an awful lot of tennis. Ben Shelton, full of confidence, the young American, 21st birthday today. Happy 21st birthday to Ben Shelton. He's going to come here. And I think it's worth a little bit on the money line, plus $3. I think it could be a good time to play Jannik Sinner. Yeah.
We've seen Sinner before. Sorry, mate. But we've seen Sinner before come from wins in big tournaments and then losing the first round. We saw it at Lajovic earlier this season. We saw it Duckworth a couple of years ago after he won Washington. I wouldn't be surprised if it would have happened again. If Giron had taken that first set, that would have been interesting. So I'm just concerned about Sinner's physicality at the minute.
Yeah, his performance last time out was shocking as well against Sebastian Mays. He didn't play at all well. He went on Twitter and he even said that himself. I think Shelton 21st, he's going to come out. He's going to have a go. I think.
Enjoy it. What's he got to lose?
Yeah, he's going to. I think plus $3 is a big price. So we're leaning towards Shelton in this match against Jannik Sinner. We think at minus $4 is no value whatsoever in him. So we've only got one official play. Is that correct, Sean? One official one?
Yeah, I'm being a bit circumspect now that the conditions have, for me, gone in the favour of the higher ranked players. The slower it is, the more favourites do tend to win, or generally speaking. And if I'm backing an outsider and I know that guy performs well on quick courts, the first week, great, but now it's going a bit too slow for me. So I'm going to be a little bit more circumspect with my bets here.
And what is our official pick? What's the one pick? Give us a recap.
The one I'm still taking the tie break, because I just think Hurkacz against anyone with power is highly likely to play a tiebreak or two. So I've taken over 12.5 games in set one of his match against Zhang at plus 245 at Bet Rivers.
And we're in good shape on the outright market. Herbert Hurkacz, our 33-1 pick to win this week in Shanghai through to the last 16, currently minus 250 to make it through to the quarterfinals in what is relatively an easy section as well, easy-ish section. Nothing's easy in the ATP Tour 1000 event, but it's an easy section for us. And we've also got Humbert. Hopefully he can get past an out-sort Stefan at Tsitsipas and make it two of our picks at big prices through to the last 16. Remember, there's 4 ways to follow us here on Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. You can subscribe to this podcast, Betting Weekly Game Bet Match, on your preferred podcast provider. You can follow us now or subscribe onto our YouTube channel, which is Betting Weekly Studios. There is some amazing content, and I keep saying this all the time, but the international break is on now. So we've got the internationals being looked at by our team of handicappers. We've got the Cricket World Cup, 2 of the best betting brains on cricket. There is giving you coverage on that. Might not be a sport you like, but doesn't matter what sport you like, as long as you can cash tickets and get money out of it. And the cricket boys are doing very well there. And obviously myself and Sean will be back later on in the week. I think we're going to be back on Thursday and Friday.
Wednesday, wasn't it? Wednesday.
Is it Wednesday? I can't remember the email. Wednesday. Is it Wednesday, Friday, or Wednesday, Thursday?
I believe it's Wednesday, Friday.
Wednesday, Friday. That could change.
It could change. That's what I understand at the minute.
But we're looking at Wednesday, Friday this week to go through the tournament here and look at the events. The tour returns back to Europe next week, and Sean, you'll be on your travels again, won't you?
Yeah, I'll be in Antwerp. I'll be there late on Monday night, so I'll be at the tennis on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in Antwerp.
Good card there. Any players?
I haven't seen the entries, to be honest. I've not looked at it yet. It's not normally attracts a decent field. Yeah, it's obviously a new city for me as well.
Have I got the end? I see. I think there's players there. I think it's a good tournament. I saw yesterday. Well, but I can't find it now. But I looked yesterday and I saw it. It was a good tournament. I think it's Cinema. No, I can't remember. Anyway, you got some good players there. That's it from myself and Sean. Just the one pick for us. Hopefully Hurkacz can get through. We want him to get through in a close tie break in set 1 and then do the business in set 2. Get it done. I'm a little bit nervy. Sean's calmed it down. So if you have got a ticket for Hurkacz, we're okay. We're not going to. So just keep calm. And we'll be cashing that ticket at the end of the week. Take care, everyone. All the very best, and we'll speak to you a bit later on.